Jerry, if you would note that Planning Commissioner Bill is gone today. Barb is just coming in, so, and that Ron is representing the county board today, so. Approval of minutes. And for the audience, agendas are on the bookshelf over there if you don't have one and would like to grab one. Anyway, approval of minutes, are there in our packet? Any additions, changes, or corrections? Not, I'd entertain a motion for approval as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Approval of the agenda. Today's agenda consists of consent calendar items 3 through 9 and item 10 for action, and then 11 through 15. Any changes or additions to the agenda?
I guess my only question is the paper that was up here, is this just more detailed 11 through 15? Is that what this is?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's the last page. It's the update for the county board report.
It basically is just adding items from staff and a little more to the county board report.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So the agenda would be with the handout.
Okay.
Good, just clarifying or expanding that.
I have no questions then.
Entertain a motion for approval of the agenda as
So moved.
with the handout.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Consent items today are items 3 through 9 currently. The following items have been placed on the consent calendar for action to be taken on all items in accordance with the staff's recommendation by single vote. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar by planning commissioner, staff member, or audience member for separate consideration. The finding of this planning commission are recommendations of the Pennington County Board of Commissioners who will make the final decision. And I always add that except conditional use permits unless they're appealed, the final action is here. So. And with that, PJ, if you could read 3 through 9 for the record before we find out if any here to be pulled.
Sure. PJ Conover, Director, Planning Department. Consent calendar, item number 3, conditional use permit review, 9611 for Donald and Norma Lindy to review a double-wide manufactured home as a caretaker's residence in a general agriculture district. Staff recommends to continue the review of conditional use permit 9611 to the June 12th, 2017 Planning Commission meeting. Item 4, conditional use permit review 1037 for Colin and Michelle Spurley to review an accessory structure, a caboose, in a low-density residential district. Staff recommends to continue the review of conditional use permit 1037 to the June 12, 2017 Planning Commission meeting. Item 5, conditional use permit review 1404 for Dan and Nancy Evangelisto to review the existing conditional use permit to include Lot 12 to allow for a recreational resort to include a bed and breakfast, up to 10 rental units and special events to include weddings, wine tasting, rehearsal dinners, and family reunions in a general agriculture district. Staff recommends to end conditional use permit 1404. Item 6, conditional use permit review 1604 for Alex and Michaela Kaliza, to review a vacation home rental on the subject property in a limited agriculture district. Staff recommends approval of the extension of conditional use permit 1604 with 15 conditions. Item 7, conditional use permit review 1634 for Jessica Thermes to review a recreational vehicle to be used as a temporary living quarters for no more than 180 days per calendar year on the subject property in a low-density residential district. Staff recommends approval of the extension of conditional use permit 1634 with 8 conditions. Item 8, conditional use permit 1708 for Jeremiah and Angela Thomas to operate a part-time sawmilling business as a home occupation on the subject property in a low-density residential district. Staff recommends to continue conditional use permit 1708 to the May 8th, 2017 Planning Commission meeting. Item 9, planned unit development review 0902 for the Salvation Army to review the Salvation Army Camp planned unit development. Staff recommends approval of the extension of planned unit development 0902 with 20 conditions.
Staff wishing to pull any of the
No.
items? Planning Commission, anyone want to pull any items 3 through 9? Audience, anyone wishing to pull any items 3 through 9 off the consent calendar? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion for approval of consent items 3 through 9 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Same side. Motion carried. Item 10.
Item 10 is Plan Unit Development Review 1603, to review a plan unit development to allow for a specialty resort development that includes vacation home rentals, weddings, receptions, picnics, family reunions, parties, single-family residence, bed and breakfast, storage, gift shop, spa, cabana, bistro, detached accessory structure with living quarters, duplexes, etc. Applicants and agents are Dan and Nancy Evangelisto, Century Home Crafters LLC, Century Land Holdings LLC, and Summer Creek Inn LLC. A representative, one of the applicants is in the audience today if you have any questions. It encompasses 12.91 acres and is made up of over 30 different separate lots. Can we put the screen down? Sorry. Since 2008, the applicants received approval for multiple conditional use permits for varying uses on their properties. In 2015 and 16, the applicants were looking to add some uses and consolidate what they were doing, and it was determined at that time that developing a plan unit development would be the best way to go. So staff had worked with the applicants and with planning commissioners and board of commissioners to get that done. The plan unit development reflects the current proposed uses, and it consists of 33 consecutive lots owned by the applicant, family members of the applicant, and neighbors. And the Board of Commissioners approved PU 1603 in 2016. Staff was out on the property. I'm trying to find that page, excuse me. On April 13, 2017. The only item that staff found that was not, the only condition that staff found that was not met was condition number 9, the addressing. The applicant did have the structure addressed on the post entry to the office, but it was not addressed at the junction where the road and the driveway meet. However, the applicant did state that they are ordering the parts for that. They are putting it on a boulder per their PUD. Their addresses need to look natural. So we're looking at reviewing to make sure that that was done at the next review, which is going to be February 2018, but the applicant stated that he'll have it done before that. The applicant did also ask that a couple of the conditions be consolidated, specifically existing conditions 12 and 24. The applicant has requested that they be combined and be amended to read and roughly that the driveway in front of the inn and up past the overflow parking lot have a 24-foot wide driving surface and 4 inches of gravel. This brings it back into harmony in what staff and the Planning Commission had originally approved for conditional use permit 1404, which was just ended on the consent calendar. Other two-way roads within the PUD have a 16 to 18-foot wide driving surface with 4 inches of gravel, and all one-way roads have a 12-foot wide driving surface with 4 inches of gravel. And it'll be the responsibility of the street authority to meet or exceed roadway requirements per state and county regulations. So staff had adjusted the conditions to match what the applicant's request was, and those widths there is precedent for those in certain areas of the county and other PUDs and conditional use permits. The applicant appears to be meeting all the conditions of approval except for the condition number 9 as stated before. The applicant plans to apply for a temporary building permit before June 2018, and that's a temporary building permit for the tent. There are specific conditions, condition 14 for the tent that they want to put up. There's been some discussions of doing a permanent building permit for a tent. Staff normally doesn't do that, so what the Board of Commissioners had decided to do was to move forward as usual, allow the applicant to put it up with a temporary building permit, and then in February 2018, review to see if there have been any complaints or if there's any issues with that, and then readdress the possibility of the board making the recommendation for the planning director to approve a permanent building permit for the tent. Any questions on that part? Okay. Staff will be removing condition 44 from the original conditions of approval, and as of the staff report, there have been no further complaints relative to PU 1603. Staff recommends approval of the extension of plan unit development 1603 with 43 conditions.
Questions for PJ?
Mr. Chair,
Lori?
would you just remind me, the street authority, is there a road district here? I forget.
There is.
There is a road
There is,
district?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions for PJ? I guess I have a question, item, whatever, 29 on page 14. Lot 7. I guess, question and comment. I guess my question is, existing on-site wastewater system must comply with the operating permit. Is there an existing on-site system there? And I guess my question is,
I believe there's multiple.
on that.
3, is it?
On that particular lot, there is already.
With operating permit.
And that's been approved by the state then? 'Cause I guess what my question is, because the state law says it has to be at least 20,000 square feet if it's got central water system, and that lot size is only 0.34 acres.
Yeah, it's
So-
very small.
So how is there a legitimate system there?
That's a good question. I hope the applicant might have history on that one. I'd have to go back through.
And my comment.
Yes, and find it.
Yeah. And I guess my comment, and Dan probably could answer this better, is, I think it's brought up by several people, but I mean, the recreational vehicles being on lot 7, which is one of the lots that's not in the PUD, or is adjacent to lots that aren't in the PUD, and to me, it makes more sense, especially given the size of the lot only being 0.34 acres, to put 3 RVs on it next to someone's house that's not part of the PUD, and that, at best, I think it's inconsiderate, and there are numerous lots that are part of the PUD, and I guess I made that comment before that I think it would be better to be in one of the lots that are further in on the PUD rather than on the fringe that are bordered on 2 sides by houses that aren't part of the PUD.
I do remember it coming up before. I just don't remember all the discussion on it at this time.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure Dan probably could respond better to that. That's more a comment than,
Okay.
I guess on the onsite, I was curious on how that small lot got a permit, so.
When he's up here, I'll look and see if I can find it.
Other questions for PJ? Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I also do
Right.
remember us discussing Lot 7 is also
On
a
the
lot that
outside.
faces the
Yeah, I
highway.
know.
That's what I
I
remembered.
know.
And,
Yeah, I remember you bringing that up
Yeah.
because it's pulling through off the highway is
Yeah.
one of the advantages, so.
And we
Northwest
talked,
corner.
we talked about how the other lots are there for development, and, what if someone puts a really, really nice home, and then, they've got the RV lot next to them?
But what about, that's the same argument for the existing homeowners on either side?
But they're right on the highway already. I mean, I know we talked about that.
Yeah,
That's what I remember.
I know.
Like, yeah.
And we allowed it to go forward the way it was. And I mean, it does state that 7 could be, it's only one thing. It could be the recreational vehicles, or it could be a vacation home rental that could be added. So I mean, there is caveats that allow a permanent home to be built there, so. Any other questions for PJ? I guess, Dan, did you have any comments, or I guess maybe address my questions if you would, so.
Good morning, I'm Dan Evangelisto, but the community does have a community water system, so that's why there's not a well and a septic.
But then even if it's got a community water system, it has to have at least 20,000 square feet and 0.34 acres isn't,
Well, these are all grandfathered in because they were platted back in 1961, so
okay.
they're non-conforming lots. So as long as we have another source of water, we were allowed to do that septic system on there.
Was that a state-approved septic
Yeah.
system then? Okay.
Correct. So-
And like I said, we've gone through that argument before, but I mean, personally, I think that'd be better to,
Well, one of the
On a
reasons
bigger lot.
for locating it there was, it's been set up like that before either of the adjoining landowners bought their property. And as Lori said, that the access to the highway is another contributing factor to why we put it there. But the main reason is the topography of all those other lots. The roads are narrow, it's quite steep going up through them, and so it was our mindset, because the Black Hills is such a high, if you live in the Black Hills, you always have family that come and visit, and the majority of them have campers. So we were trying to keep from visiting relatives, and that's the only people that can use this, is friends and family of people within the PUD.
well, I know that was one of the heartburns some
But it
of
was
the
trying to
neighbors had
keep
initially.
family members from trying to get their campers up into the rest of the subdivision. They're trying to keep it down where it's easier access and safer for everybody. So
Well, and I do recall that you clarified that it's just for visiting people and not being rented out separately.
Right.
So,
Mr. Chair?
Lori?
Also, can you clarify, I think I heard about Lot 7 that there are multiple systems? Or there's
No,
just,
just
there's
one
one
septic.
septic system that 3 RVs can hook into?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Many different 3-bedrooms, so,
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
3-bedroom home, so one system, I don't know.
Any other questions?
I didn't have any others, but I do appreciate the
All right, thank you.
clarification. Staff's recommendation is for approval with 43 conditions. Anyone want to venture motion or have any other comments?
Yeah, I'll move to approve PUD 1603 with the recommended 43 conditions.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Item 11, County Board Report.
The Board of Commissioners concurred with the Planning Commission's recommendation from the April 10, 2017 Planning Commission meeting. Some items of note, there was second reading of rezone 1703 and Comprehensive Plan Amendment 1703 for Tyler Shad, Renner Associates as the agent, to rezone 29.485 acres from general ag to limited agriculture and to rezone 40 acres from general agriculture district to heavy industrial. The motion to approve the second reading carried 3-2.
You said on that one, the Board of Commissioners concurred. We voted against the rezonings.
No, that was the top.
Okay.
So these are items of note in the
Oh, okay.
exceptions. We can reword that.
Okay.
Item 2, second reading of Plan Unit Development Amendment 1701 for Karen Moore to amend existing plan unit developments to allow for a specialty resort, recreation resort, and for bed and breakfast and events, such as weddings, receptions, company picnics, family reunions. The motion to continue this item to the May 2nd, 2017 was approved by the Board of Commissioners.
Well, and I don't know, again, on the handout, the way it reads is that the Board of Commissioners concurred with the Planning Commission's recommendation from April 10th, 2017 Planning Commission meeting. It doesn't say accept.
I don't know what,
That's my,
Oh, that would have been a typo on my
this is the
part.
official part of the
Yeah.
agenda that should be corrected,
Yeah, normally I put with the exception of.
with the
That-
exception of,
Yeah.
that's missing, so.
And I can add that in there.
Questions regarding county board action? Items from the public then, item 12. Items from staff?
as you all know, the comprehensive plan is moving forward. We had three and a half days of workshops last week. A lot of planning commissioners, Board of Commissioners, and a lot of department heads met with the consultants over Monday afternoon through Friday morning. The three workshops that we held, the one with the highest attendance was in Wall with 14 people, which is a lot. Then we had 11 people participating in the Hill City workshop, and the least attended was the one right here in this building in the EOC, which I believe SIG had attended that one. Part of the concern about that location was that its proximity to the jail at night, so we're going to probably look at going to the University Center over by Waikiki for the next few, but we figured
I heard that comment, but I guess it never crossed my mind that I would not go to a meeting because the jail's next door, but.
didn't cross ours either. But
It's like a safer location. Is that, are we implying that it would not be safe?
I don't know.
Was that the comment?
That was somebody's comment there, yeah.
Yep,
So how many people were there?
eight participating.
It's more than zero.
Now, we set up for 36. But he says if you get, 15 to 20 to 30, that's a lot for something like this. Usually they come out after it's all approved.
Why so many in Wall?
I don't know. I wasn't in attendance to that one. Cassie went to that.
I would have thought
Maybe
there would have been
because-
more in Hill City than Wall.
Well,
I don't know.
we were pleased with both of those because those were the two that we figured we get the lowest turnouts. But the way that the The consultant does the meetings with the interactive, immediate surveying, where you can see what the results are and create more discussion. So I think it was really good. So he's gonna write up what the results are and then figure out what we have to do moving forward. And then he is looking at scheduling a meeting, probably the third week in July, I believe, to come back out again for an entire week. So that was only the first round of 5 rounds of meetings. So that's 3 of 15 public meetings. Any questions? Okay. The next item is just to announce that Cassie Bolstad, the Assistant Director, passed her floodplain test. So she is a certified floodplain manager, so we have 3 in the office now. Also, Dustin Willett for Emergency Management, who works for the city and the county, he passed his test as well. So we're excited about that. Not the easiest test in the world, but probably not the hardest. Also, just an update, our Planner 1 and our Planner 2, as you know, Kelsey had left to be a stay-at-home mom, and Chutima, actually, her last day was last Friday. She left to go work for the city at the library. We've already interviewed and are looking to offer a Planner 2 position today, and we have already applied, and the application time period for the Planner 1 is ended, so Cassie's going through all of those applicants right now. So with the Planner 2, there's a subtle difference that we've done with that, because the Planner 2 is paid through 2 different budgets in our office. So there's a planning budget and the environmental budget. And what we're looking to do with that position is, if you remember when I announced it before, is to leverage someone's experience with GIS so that we can make better maps, so that we can produce better information and look at really what's happening in our county. So we'll see if the person we're offering it to accepts, and we'll go from there.
PJ, how many people did you interview in the second round? Was it 4?
We started with 4, 1 dropped out because she was moving back, so
Okay,
3.
Okay.
Yes.
Was the recommendation for the person unanimous between the final selection committee, or?
For the number 1 person, yes. Number 2 and 3 was more difficult. They couldn't agree, which is good that they couldn't agree. Yep. Yep, nothing further.
Items for membership, anyone have anything for the good of the body? If not, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment then.
So moved.
Second.
We're adjourned.